guys love Resident Evil? Because I do. Do you love the enemies in Resident Evil? Do you love the girls in Resident Evil? Of course you do, that's why you clicked on this video. Welcome back everybody, this is Velociraptor Ghost speaking, and today I thought I would do something a little different compared to what I usually do. Today, I am going to be reviewing every iteration of the main cast of Resident Evil, because the characters in the franchise have evolved since their introduction in the 90s. And when I mean main characters, I basically mean this list of characters who have appeared in the most games. But if you guys want me to do other characters from the franchise, or even other characters from other media, let me know in the comments, because I gladly will do it if there's enough demand for it. Alright, so before we get started, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for future content. Now, let us start with my man, my boy, Ramon Salazar. I'm just kidding, let's start with Leon.
What up? Get your homeboy Leon. Para Capcanados and Ino Pasiwa. My man Luke Sarah backing me up. It's Resident Evil, you know what's up.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna start out with this now, okay? Let's start with RE2, concept art Leon. And yeah, he looks pretty good. Yeah, I dig it. It's pretty good looking. Especially, this is how the character was designed to look. I think they ended up capturing it pretty well. And then when we look at the in-game model, yeah, you could only do so much with PS1 graphics. But it's not too bad, especially compared to other games released at that time. So, yeah, it's pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. They also had FMV models, or CGI models, and while the promotional art used the CGI model, it actually looked pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, especially for the time. Yeah, I totally dig it. But in the game itself, the CGI model, it looked like it broke. Like, I don't know what's wrong with it in the game, because in the promotional art, it looks perfectly fine. But not so much in the actual game. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So the next game... Alright, let's move on, though. The next game Leon appeared in, was Resident Evil Gaiden. Most of you probably don't even know what this is. If you do, let me know. But Gaiden was sort of an RPG game for the Game Boy Color. I don't know. I never really played it. I just know that it exists. And Leon was in this game. This game isn't canon because at the end of the game, Leon is killed and replaced with a BOW clone. But yeah, it's just Leon on the Game Boy Color. Nothing really much I can say. But yeah, pretty cool. Alright, so Leon would later appear in Resident Evil 4, and this is when our boy definitely evolved. No longer is he the goofy rookie cop that he was in RE2, but he's a badass. This Leon model, I really love this Leon model. It looks really good. This guy, he looks like you don't want to mess with him, but it also looks like I want to be best friends with this guy, you know? I totally dig this model. It's pretty good. Alright, so let's move on. The next thing he appeared in was the movie Resident Evil Degeneration, and it's okay. It's not the best, but I don't know. He looks kind of, at least from this picture I'm seeing, he looks kind of flat. I don't know why, but he does. Yeah, well, let's move on. I don't have much to say about this one. It looks more like a flatter version of what he looked like in RE4. So yeah, I don't really have much to say. Alright, let's move on though. Darkside Chronicles. I really like this model of Leon in Darkside Chronicles. It looks like a modern version of how he looked in the original Resident Evil 2. So yeah, I really like it. It looks really nice. They actually... So they used this model as well in Operation Raccoon City. So I know that. And I'm pretty sure they used it in other material as well, because it's just a really good model. Yeah, I think Capcom nailed his look in this game. Okay, so next is Resident Evil Damnation. Damnation is another Resident Evil movie. Now, for the record, I'm not including any of the characters from the Paul W. Anderson movies, because screw those movies. Just screw them. But I will include the CGI movies, because they're way better than what you see in the Paul W. Anderson crap. So yeah, Leon, he looks pretty good. He's definitely a lot better looking than how he was in Degeneration. I'm not a really big fan of the facial hair, sort of thing. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I don't know. It just makes him look a little weird. But dude, never get rid of that hairstyle, please. I'm trying to grow that hairstyle myself because I just love it so much. Alright, let's move on. Resident Evil 6. So, I'm not gonna even give Resident Evil 6 a chance. I'm not gonna play it. No. Because from what I've seen, it's pretty bad. But Leon in this game, yeah, he looks pretty good. It, you know, looks a bit older, not too old. He looks pretty good, yeah. It's pretty fine. Then Resident Evil Vendera. I hope I didn't butcher that name. Honestly, Vendera is I think they use the exact same Leon model from 6, just it's a lot more cleaner. I don't really have much to say with this one. It's just the same Leon from 6, just more cleaner looking. So I guess I can just move on. Alright, now we're getting into Resident Evil 2 Remake. Unless I missed something. Let me know in the comments if I did miss something, but... I'm not gonna lie, you guys. I'm not a fan of this model. He doesn't look like Leon. I'm just saying, he doesn't look like Leon. I don't know why they decided to make him look like this. You wanna know who he does look like? What was his name? He looks like the guy who played Pita from the Hunger Games. I can't remember the actor's name. He was also in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie as Mike Schmidt. That's what he looks like. And I don't know. It doesn't work for Leon. Not the biggest fan of it. Alright, let's move on, though. Infinite Darkness. I'm gonna say, I like this one. A lot better than RE2 Remake. I saw Infinite Darkness. It was alright. But, it's not bad. I like it. It definitely looks a lot more like Leon than how RE2 Remake handled it. Yeah. I like it. It's pretty good. Alright, let's move on. RE4 Remake. It's just basically the same as RE2 Remake Leon, but a bit more beefier. Again, I'm not a fan of this design. I really, really don't like the remake design. He just doesn't look good. But that's my opinion. If you guys like this version of Leon, you're entitled to that opinion. It's fine. I'm just not the biggest fan of it. So, let's move on to Death Island. And Death Island, I really, really like this design. This looks like a modern version of how Leon looked in RE4. This is what he should have looked like in the remakes. Okay, if I was in charge of Capcom, and especially the Resident Evil team, this is what Leon would have looked like in the remakes, especially RE4 Remake. This looks like Leon. This, no doubt about it. Alright, well, yeah, that's basically, everybody from, that's every Leon from Resident Evil. So I guess we should move on to Chris.
And you? I mean, don't even get me started. Ooh, look at me. I punch boulders. I'm so scared. Hey, come on, take it out!
I'm not gonna lie, you guys. Chris Redfield is my least favorite main character in the franchise. I'm not saying I hate Chris. I don't hate Chris. He's just my least favorite. I just find him to be the less interesting. Okay? I don't hate him. I want to make that clear. I like the other characters a lot more. Yeah. But let's get started. Let's start with his original promotional art, and it's pretty good. I don't know why, but he looks a lot younger than how he does in the games itself. I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of that. Yeah, it's okay for what it is. And they ended up making a different promotional art of him. This one looks a lot more accurate to how he looks in the game. Yeah, this one is definitely a lot more better. It's a lot more, he looks like Chris. I don't really know what else to say. Next, we're moving on to his model in the game, and yeah, just like Leon, you couldn't really do much with the PS1 in terms of graphics, so everyone looks so blocky, but it's not too bad. Yeah, it's pretty fine. They also used this model in the bonus modes for Resident Evil 2. So, yeah. But, yeah, it's pretty good. And I'm also including the live-action cutscenes from the first Resident Evil, and I really dig this. This Charlie, I can't remember his last name, but Charlie from Resident Evil definitely pulls off the Chris. You know what would be really cool? Is if Capcom made a live-action Resident Evil movie and actually hired the original actors. So when you look at these characters, you can go, hey, that's Chris Redfield, and not Chris Pratt posing to be Chris Redfield. You get what I'm saying? I like it. It's pretty good. Yeah. Alright. Next is Resident Evil Code Veronica. If the original promotional art showed that Chris looked a lot younger, Code Veronica, he also looks a lot younger than how he did in RE1. And I don't know why, but he looks like a college student for some reason. I don't know why. He looks like if I was a military or mercenary guy, it's not the best. I get it. The console Code Veronica originally was on one of the Sega consoles. I can't remember. Could only do so much. But it's not the best. Alright, moving on to Resident Evil 1 Remake. This one is my favorite version of Chris. No doubt about it. This is how Chris should have looked like going forward, but unfortunately they did not go that way. I really love this. This is a really good Chris. I don't really play as Chris very much in RE1 Remake. I love RE1 Remake, by the way. It's my favorite game in the franchise. Can't make me change my mind. Love it. That game, well, I don't want that game to be remade again. Get used to fixed camera angles. You don't understand. Fixed camera angles are a lost art. I'm getting off track. But, yeah, Chris is he looks pretty good in this game. Yeah, definitely. RE5. Yeah. I hate what they did to him in RE5. I hate how they made him look like a steroid addict. He probably is a steroid addict. Like, they ruined him. I'm sorry, I'm just saying, they ruined him. Chris going forward just doesn't look very good. RE6, they basically he's the same. Just with like a slightly different hairstyle. But same design. Yeah. Yeah, 6 and 5, not the best. But how did he look in Revelations? Let's see. Okay, we are moving on from that. Resident Evil Vendera. I mean, it's the same model that they used in 6, but he does look a lot more happy in this. He does look a lot more happy. But it's still, it's still Chris from Resident Evil 6 and 5, so yeah, I don't like it. Next, Resident Evil 7. I'm not gonna lie, I actually kind of like this one. It looks like they tried to make a more realistic looking version of RE1 Remake Chris, at least from what I'm seeing. And I like it. I think RE1 Remake Chris is a lot better, but I think if they made a Code Veronica remake, or if they did remake RE1 Remake again, and I don't want that, I think they would use this model of Chris, or at least something similar to this model, because it does capture that feeling. This looks like Chris, and he's not beefy, and I like that. And in RE8, well, he does look... it's weird. RE7 and RE8, don't they take place around a similar time? Why does Chris look so young in RE7? But in RE8, he looks a lot older. Like he's in his late 40s or something. I don't get that. Weird. But, yeah. He looks like he's gained a little weight. He looks like he's beefy again. But, yeah. Yeah. Alright, Resident Evil Death Island. This one's actually kind of weird. It doesn't look like Chris. At least from this picture. He doesn't really look like Chris. He doesn't even look like RE5 Chris, and it's just like, huh? Like, what? Yeah, not... Unlike the Leon from Death Island, this is definitely not the best looking Chris. Alright, well, yeah, that's basically every version of Chris I could find. Let me know if I missed any. I know in Umbrella and Darkside Chronicles he was in those, but it's basically just the same model as RE1 Remake Chris. But, yeah. Alright, well, let's move on to Jill. You know, if Samus didn't exist, Jill would totally be my dream girl. I mean, she still kind of is. I see it like this. Samus is that 10 out of 10 that I would dream of being with, but it would never happen. Jill is like that type of person who I could see myself being with, and she'd be not only like a great girlfriend, but my best friend. But, yeah. Let's start with her original, concept art. And I don't know, this one isn't that I don't really like this one. She looks like a high school student cosplaying as a like special ops military person. I don't know. It's fine for what it is, but compared to Leon and Chris, not really that good. Okay, so they also, similar to Chris, they later on redesigned this model, and it looks a lot better. A lot better. Yeah, it's pretty good. That beret makes Jill look hot. I want to make that clear. Like, that beret was a good choice. Oh, I'm sorry for sounding like a simp. Alright, but yeah, it's pretty good. This is a pretty good looking version of Jill. Her in-game, her live-action, I think this was, like, the one person they couldn't find. Like, they found everybody from the live-action cutscenes, except for the actress who played Jill. I don't know her name. But, I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments if I am wrong, but I'm pretty sure they never found her. She could be dead for all I know. If so, rest in peace. But, yeah, she's pretty good. She looks like the character. Alright, her in-game model, well, yeah, like, I've said this so many times, but, again, it's PS1 graphics, so you can only do so much. Yeah. Resident Evil 3. Resident Evil 3's version of Jill is actually pretty good, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty fine. I always hear a lot of people complain about her outfit, saying it's not appropriate for the situation she's in, and I'm always like, dude, in Resident Evil 3, the outbreak just happened. She wasn't even on duty. She was off duty in her apartment when it happened. Her apartment blew up, okay? What do you wanted her to do? Go back into a burning down apartment to go and put on, like, STARS uniforms or something? No, who does that? Okay, she's off duty. That's why she's not dressed appropriately for the situation, okay? But anyways, I'm getting off track. Let's move on. RE1 Remake Jill. This is the best version of Jill. Yeah, it is totally the best version of Jill. I think when them getting rid of the Julianne Voth face, was a big, big crime. Because this is just her best look. Like, the other Jills going forward, they aren't bad either, but this is the best version of Jill. Yeah. Let's move on. RE5 Jill. It's basic. Let's start with the Lost in Nightmares version, since canonically that's first. Yeah, it's just the same. It's just the same as the RE1 remake Jill, just with a different outfit. I don't really have much to say with that one. Then the actual game itself, I don't like this one. Okay, this is the safest version I could find of this version of Jill, because yeah, they really sexualized her in this game. First of all, she ripped off Samus's design. Come on, blonde hair with a ponytail and a skin-tight suit. Doesn't have to be blue, but they knew what they were doing. They probably saw the hype Samus was getting in like Smash Bros. And were like, you know what? Let's make Jill look like that. Yeah, if you guys wanted Samus in Resident Evil, there you go. Yeah, it's like, and you're probably wondering, Ghost, if you're saying like they're sexualizing Jill in this game, what do you have a problem, since you're like the biggest Samus simp ever? Okay, listen, it works for characters like Samus, but when I think of Jill, she's like a different type of attractiveness, okay? She's like the I don't know how to describe it. She doesn't need to dress like that to be attractive, okay? She doesn't. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. But anyways, this is starting to get a little awkward. Let's move on. Resident Evil Revelations. This face is sort of like I don't know how to describe it. It's not the Julianne Voth face. This is when they got rid of it, obviously. I don't know how to describe this one. It's not bad, but it's also not great. Definitely not her best look. I still think it's better than the original concept art, but not the best. Let's move on. Resident Evil 3 Remake. I don't like Jill in this game, but her design is pretty good. I will give Capcom some credit. At least they didn't make Jill look atrocious compared to a lot of other women made in other video games in the modern era. But yeah, she still looks beautiful. She looks like Jill. I think what they tried to do is they tried to make a more modern version of how she looked in the original Resident Evil 3. So it's not too bad. I still think the Julianne Voth face from RE1 Remake and RE5 is way better, but it's still fine for what it is. I'm not complaining about it. Resident Evil Death Island. They just used the exact same model from RE3 Remake. I don't really have much to say about it. Yeah, that's pretty much every game with Jill going, at least for now. Capcom, please put Jill in RE9. Please. Please. The one girl every Resident Evil fan has a crush on, except me. The main reason why I'm not the biggest Claire fan is because, in terms of like being attracted to, is because I'm not attracted to gingers. Now, I am not saying I hate redheads, okay? I'm not. But the main reason is my mom is a redhead. And because of that, every time I look at redheads and I think of the fact of dating them, it's like, I'm dating my mom. And nobody wants to date their mom, okay? Again, there are a lot of redheads in both fiction and reality that are very beautiful looking. I want to make that clear. But they're not the type of girl I would be attracted to, okay? That's the main reason why I'm not a simp for Claire. But anyways, let's start with the concept art. Now, here's a fun fact for anybody who doesn't know. Originally, Claire was not supposed to be a character, like, at all. Originally, she was a completely different character known as Elza Walker, someone who wasn't related to Chris. According to what I know, she was basically just the same character as Claire, with the only difference being not related to Chris. This character ended up getting canceled, but they actually paid tribute to her in the RE2 remake by adding a costume based off her original design, which I think is pretty cool. So let's move on. The CGI model of Claire, it's pretty good. Similar to the CGI model of Leon. I like it. It looks pretty good. And unlike the Leon model, it doesn't look broken in the game, which is so weird. Something must have happened to the Leon model when they were making it in the game. I don't know. But it looks pretty good. I like it. It's not bad. The in-game model. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, again, I'm gonna keep saying it. It's just, you know, blocky graphics. Don't have much to say about it. Code Veronica. I dig this design. I think Code Veronica. I haven't played Code Veronica yet, but I'm going to pretty soon. But it looks pretty good. I'm not lying. It does look nice. I like the dual weapons here, though. It kind of, this, I don't know, this kind of reminds me of the Halo 2 box art, in a way. Like, just replace Master Chief and slap Claire on there. That would be so funny. Yeah. Resident Evil Degeneration. It looks pretty good. Again, I'm not a big simp for Claire. This model, yeah, she looks nice. She does look pretty beautiful, but again, I'm not attracted to redheads. It looks great for what it is. I think it looks a lot better than the Leon model. But yeah, let's move on. Dark Side Chronicles. Now, similar to Leon, this is just a modern version of how Jill looked in the original RE2. I like it. It's pretty good. I think it's a really good modern version of how she originally looked in the game. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Alright, Resident Evil Revelations 2. I don't know about this one. She looks older. I will say that. But I don't know, she kind of doesn't really look like Claire. She kind of looks like if some mom cosplayed as Claire at like a gaming convention. That's what I get when looking at this. For the record, did you know I'm recording this on Mother's Day? Happy Mother's Day. Alright, but yeah, it's not the best. Let's move on. RE2 Remake. I'm gonna be honest, I don't like this one at all. She has a baby-looking face. Like, she's got this babyish looking face. It's like too... I don't know, her face, it just looks... ugh. Not very good. No, it's just not the best looking Claire. Not the best. Infinite Darkness. A lot better than RE2 Remake, I will say that. I don't know, it looks like they took the Revelations 2 design and made it look more like Claire. This actually looks like Claire. I'm not gonna lie. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I find it hilarious that there are two redheads named Claire in two different medias. I'm thinking of Claire from Jurassic World. I hate Jurassic World. But, yeah, I find that hilarious, and they're both gingers. Anyways, yeah. But, yeah, it's pretty good. It's fine. Death Island. Okay, Death Island, it's the exact same model from Infinite Darkness. Yeah, it's the exact same model. Again, a lot better than RE2 Remake. But yeah, I guess that's it. Alright, so let's move on to the B word in the red dress. Fun fact, Ada apparently had a CGI model in promotional art, but strangely they never used it in the actual game. I wonder if they just forgot to add it into the game, or if it was never meant to be in it in the first place, but yeah, it exists. And it's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty good looking. I like it. So, alright, now let's look at the in-game model. Isn't it funny how, even with blocky graphics, Ada actually still looks good? Like, Capcom knew what they were doing when making this character. But, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 Ada does look really nice, I'm not gonna lie. I think the dress is a little too much, but I'm not complaining. She definitely... The thing about Ada is, I question if she even likes Leon, or if she just uses Leon because she knows that Leon really, really is into her. I don't know, it's something that me and my sister debate all the time. We constantly question, is Ada really interested in Leon, or does she just know that Leon likes her and she uses that for her own benefit? I don't know. I don't know. I guess that's one of those questions we'll have to wait and see. Who knows? Resident Evil The Umbrella Chronicles. So I'm including this because she does look very different in this game. She's bandaged up, obviously because she was supposedly killed by the tyrant in that game. And she survived. Yeah, she definitely looks like she's in a world of pain. Ouch. Dark Side Chronicles. Yeah, it's just a modern version of how she looked in the original Resident Evil 2. Not bad. Not bad. Resident Evil Damnation. I actually almost forgot that she was in Damnation. Like, that I saw that movie. I almost fell asleep. Wasn't really interesting. But, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Ada in this. I don't know, something about her face just I don't know, maybe it's just me. You guys let me know if you find it appealing. Resident Evil 6, not bad. Not bad. That crossbow looks ginormous. Like, she's like a tiny lady, and she's holding like this gigantic crossbow. She looks like she could barely hold that. That's funny. Yeah, it's pretty good. I like it. It's not bad. Resident Evil 2 Remake. Now, this is actually a design in the RE2 Remake that I actually do like. It looks pretty good. I don't know, but the red dress does look a little bit, I don't want to say this word because I'm worried that YouTube might take me down if I say it. But she does look a little... I don't know how to describe it. It's just... It's fine. Sure. I'm not the biggest Ada fan. But yeah, it's pretty fine. Resident Evil 4 Remake. I wish they brought the dress back. This, I'm not gonna lie, it's not really good. In fact, I think it looks worse. I think she looks worse in this game than how she does in RE2 Remake. It just doesn't look very good. Yeah. Alright, and that's, let's move on to the guy who wears sunglasses even at night.
Wesker, you're pitiful, and you're gay. Oh, please stop laughing at me. I worked so hard. I worked day and night on it.
What is there that hasn't been said about Albert Wesker? He's just a really good villain. Like, seriously. I love him. I love Wesker. I literally put him in my top 3 favorite villains in video games. Dude topped Ganondorf. I love Wesker. So yeah, let's start with his original concept art. Honestly, this is probably the best original concept art I've seen so far. It looks like Wesker. That's because Wesker is just so unique. He's got the most unique look out of everybody from the franchise. The blonde, like, gelled hair with the, like, really, really blonde, like, almost yellow, with the sunglasses even at night. Like, what's wrong with this guy? He didn't get a redesign, art model from what I've seen. I could be wrong. But yeah, this is the only, one I could find of him. His live action. You could tell that the guy who played Wesker in this live action cutscene, loved it. Loved every moment of it. You could tell. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. His in-game model, again, I keep saying it. I think you already know what I'm gonna say. Let's move on. Code Veronica. I'm sorry, it's just those weird cat eyes he has in this game. What is going on there? it looks pretty bad. Not gonna lie. Alright, let's move on though. RE1 Remake. I love Wesker in this game. He looks opposing. I knew nothing about the character when I played RE1 Remake for the first time, and I was like, yeah, I could tell this guy was gonna betray me later. Yeah. Resident Evil 0. I don't know. He only appeared... I'm not including the Wesker mode in the re-release, because that's just RE5 Wesker, and we'll get to there, don't worry, but, I don't know, his design in the cutscenes, I don't know, he doesn't really look that interesting. But let's move on, though. RE4, he appeared in the Separate Ways campaign, and also a playable character in Mercenaries, and yeah, he looks pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. Definitely very opposing, definitely very, like, secrety, you know? He looks like a government agent, not gonna lie. Like, he looks like he's a Men in Black character. I guess it's fitting. But yeah, Resident Evil, The Dark Side Chronicles, I almost forgot that he was in this. He, like, appeared at the very end, after you beat the Krauser campaign. Yeah, he looks pretty good. Resident Evil 5. Yeah, it's... I don't know, he seems a little much in this game, but honestly, it's fine. Big fan of the trench coat, though. Like the trench coat. Resident Evil 4 Remake. Now, this is a model I actually really like. It's pretty good. I like this. And, you know, it's weird. I don't know what is with Capcom, but Wesker seems to have... In some games, Wesker has a normal American accent, and in other games, he's got a British accent. It's like, what's with that? Does he mimic other accents? Like, I mean, I do that, but, like, yeah, it's just... whatever. But I really like this model. It's really, really good. Oh, and for a little bonus, I threw in the Netflix adaptation Wesker. Oh my gosh. Those idiots. Those fools. They got his sunglasses wrong. How could they do that? I want my money back. This company deserves to go out of business. How could they get his sunglasses wrong? Ugh. The nerve of Netflix. Ugh. I hate Netflix movies. Okay, so now that we've reviewed all of these characters and their many, many different designs, it's time for me to rank them. which one of them is my most favorite and which one of them is my least favorite. We'll start with Leon. My favorite version of Leon, believe it or not, is Death Island. I really, really like this version of Leon. It looks like a modern version of what Leon is supposed to look like in RE4. My least favorite version is definitely going to go to RE2 Remake Leon. I don't like it. He doesn't look like Leon. Again, he looks like Pita from the Hunger Games. I am not a fan of it. Alright, we'll move on to Chris. My favorite version of Chris is, believe it or not, the live-action cutscenes. Charlie just captures Chris Redfield's looks a lot. And I'm glad that he is a part of the community now. I would totally love to go and see him in a convention one day. Yeah, my least favorite version of Chris. Definitely RE5 Remake. We're not going to speak of Revelations. RE5 Remake destroyed Chris, in my opinion. They just made him a meme. Jill. Again, my favorite version of Jill is definitely RE1 Remake. Okay? This is the version of Jill that will always be the best. Okay? Best version of Jill. Oh. And that beret makes her look hot. My least favorite version. Definitely RE5. Not the Lost in Nightmares DLC. That one's fine. But the actual RE5 Jill. I don't like that one. Again, she looks like a ripoff of Zero Suit Samus, and the sex appeal doesn't work. No. Claire. My favorite design of Claire. I am going to definitely go with Infinite Darkness / Death Island. It looks really good. It's pretty good. My least favorite, I guess my least favorite is gonna go to RE2 Remake. Again, I don't like Leon and Claire in RE2 Remake. They don't look like themselves. Ada, my favorite version of Ada, it's either gonna be the original RE2 or RE4. I don't know, it's sort of like mixed in between those two. My least favorite, definitely RE4 Remake. She just doesn't look very good in that game. Wesker. My favorite version of Wesker is definitely going to go to RE4 Remake Wesker. This is probably the best current version of the RE4 cast so far. My least favorite version, yeah, it's definitely gonna go to Code Veronica Wesker. Those cat eyes, they just, I don't know. I don't know if I'm supposed to be scared when looking at this, but I can't help but laugh because it looks so stupid. And yeah, those are my favorite versions and least favorite versions of these characters. The characters in Resident Evil have evolved since their first debut in the 90s, and they're still gonna be evolving the more years they appear in. Who knows, maybe in RE9, Leon is gonna look like a really, really, really old man. Who knows? But, yeah, I guess that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for future content. This is Velociraptor Ghost signing out. Bye.